Hey guys, what's going on? This is John Fears. Welcome back to Fearsman 26. First live stream on the main channel, guys. This is an exciting honor. I have the myth, the man, Mr. Richard Divizio. How are we doing, sir?
Kano wins.
Oh,
What's up?
yes.
Who
Oh,
fears
yeah.
the fearsman?
Listen, I don't fear anyone, but I fear you ripping my heart out, man. So how you been? What you been up to?
Been pretty good, just working.
Yeah,
Getting
just
ready for
working.
some shows.
Well, first question right out of the bat, before we talk about anything, is a couple weeks prior to this, guys, I asked Richard what he was up to. If you want to promote those two cons that you got going on, the two cons coming up.
Okay, if you've heard of the Mo Game Con,
Okay.
it is in St. Charles, Missouri on Saturday, August 4th. And I will be down there along with Daniel Pacina, who plays he plays Johnny Cage.
Yep.
Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Smoke, Reptile.
Nice.
Yeah, Reptile and Noob Saibot. So he and I will both be down there. It's going to be a cool show. And then the week after that, we'll be in Arizona at, I believe it's called the Game On convention. So we'll be doing that. And then September 8th and 9th, I believe we'll be in Hartford, Connecticut at a show called Retro World Expo.
Okay, so for the fans, I've never heard of them. I don't know if my fans have heard of them. What's the difference between the one at St. Charles Community College and the retro one that you were just talking about?
I've never been to Retro World, but I heard it's pretty big. And Daniel went last year. It was pretty good. And actually, Mo GameCon will be my first.
Oh, nice.
And also, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona is the Game On convention, which is August 11th and 12th.
Got it.
We'll be at that one, but those I've never been to. So, but as far as the one in, well, it's close to St. Louis, so it's St. Charles, Missouri.
Yeah,
I've heard it's like a half hour away. I'm not sure, but that one, we knew someone, and they said it's a big show. We got to be there, and it's the largest video game show in that area.
Nice.
I've seen some footage online, and it looks pretty good. A lot of gamers. So if you're looking for old games, cartridges, things that are hard to find, I watched a video and it looked like there's a lot of trading going on.
Oh,
so,
sweet. So I was telling my fans. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was telling my fans. I just want to tell the fans we're really sorry about being late, you guys. Like it was Richard's first time on Google Hangouts, and we had some technical issues because in the chat right now they're saying late Fears, and I'm like, I'm sorry. So we both apologize.
Sorry about that. This is all kind of new to me, the streaming. So you know.
Well, me too. I only started streaming about a year ago, man, and there's been good times, there's been bad times, but mostly good, mostly good. So, you got three cons coming up, and since you've never been to retro, you would think that's the one that you're most excited about, right? Because you said you've been to the others.
Actually, no, I have not been to any of these three.
Oh, nice. Well, Richard has invited me, guys, and I'm gonna try to get to as many of them as I can because me and Richard has been talking about doing some collab videos together. And Richard, after we're done with this interview, if you want to take the best bits of this, you can make a copy of this, or I can send you a copy, and you can put it on your channel if you'd like, sir.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Thanks.
Hey, no worries. And so, guys, well, me and Richard are definitely going to keep you guys updated because I've been going for a job and my training starts in July. So hopefully I can get it all done. And if I can't get to any of them, I really want to come to the St. Charles one that you were talking about. But if I can get to all three or at least two, I'm there because I did some online research. Like when you told me about it, you sent me those pics and whew, you weren't kidding, man. They look great. And I was like, oh, that's just classic footage. So, yeah. So
there's another show that is coming up. We had it, I think, for the last 3 or 4 years. It's called Kombat Con.
Okay.
And that's up here in Chicago. So we're still working out the details for that. I'm not sure how many of your fans have been to the Chicago area. But
I'm sure a few of them have.
Pretty much just a Mortal Kombat convention. So,
Nice.
but
Nice.
I'll have if that's going on, I will have details for that or anything that I do, and you guys could come on by and meet everyone.
So first question right out of the bat, how did we meet? And because some of my fans have seen the interview, some of my fans haven't. Like I said, I have a lot of fans, so we
Some
can
guy
just
came up to me with a GoPro, and this was the guy right here. So,
exactly, exactly.
I had a table at the Salem Comic and Toy Expo in
Toy and Comic Expo.
in Salem, Illinois, and Johnny came up there and he's like, "Hey, I want to, could I interview you?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." So we did it, and actually, it's one of the best. Well, I didn't want to say one of the best. It is the best interview I've ever done. And
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do.
you're really good at what you do. So
I appreciate that, sir. Like what I usually do is like whenever I prepare for an interview, like I have some questions off to the side here. If I need them, I'll look down. But for that interview, I already knew all of the questions in my head. I knew
we didn't even pause. We just kept going and going and going.
Exactly. I just memorized the questions. I was like, all right, I know I want to ask him tons of stuff about Mortal Kombat. I know I want to ask him about, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I want to ask him how he got his start, And so I just went through it. And then about the 10th question in, I was like, all right, I'm like, this has been going on for about 16, 17 minutes. That was my longest interview. Normally I keep the interviews like short, like with the celebrities, because either their time is limited or they need to get back to signing autographs. But you're like, dude, I'm here all day. Like, we can go as long as you want. I was like, sweet. So I just kept it going. And around the 10th or 11th, I was like, all right, I think I got all the information I need. And then, guys,
it was with something, right?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. And then you were like, Johnny, we got to do another one. I was like, I'm up for as many like collab videos as you want to do, man. I'm like, it was fantastic. It was awesome. So I got first question right out of the gate. What did you think of the? We'll get to all the guys. I promise. We'll get to all the Mortal Kombat. We'll get to all the Ninja Turtles in a minute. What did you think of the I'm sorry, the Toy and Comic Expo. What did you think of that convention?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was a smaller con, but I think that con is going to grow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because Daryl's got that show, and it's just quaint and small, and intimate, but you can tell that this thing is going to grow. I think it's going to get out into the parking lot. It's as he gets more guests, it's going to get bigger, and then he's going to have some situation on his hand where they're like, oh my god.
Oh yeah. Well, the only I'd say the only thing that could make it like bigger is the con was great. He just needs a better location. Like it was like half a church, like half a community center. And I was like, I went up to Daryl and said, Daryl, you're awesome. And he's like, oh, Fierce, I want you to come back. He's like, would you come back as a guest, like as a YouTuber next year? I was like, if I'm not doing anything that weekend, I said, I would love to come back as a guest. He's like, yeah, I need to get
Salem is pretty small. And that would have been their largest building.
Yeah. Well, he was telling me that they're thinking about making in Salem a convention center. I was like, I would wait until they build that convention center, and then like the first event they do, boom, boom, have your thing there. And he's like, yeah,
you have to do it at a hotel.
Or a hotel, yeah, exactly. But besides the size, besides the location,
there were a lot of vendors there too.
Oh yeah, everything else was great. I think he told me about 200 to 250 vendors. Great guests. Now, did you get to mingle around a little bit?
Just a little bit. I met Bishop Stevens and walked around a little bit. Saw some. I was looking for those pop dolls.
Oh, the Pops. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't have a Kano one.
They need one. They need one.
I think they have a Baraka one. I'm not.
Do they really? Oh wow. Yeah, I'm not so much into Pops. Like for me, it's either horror stuff, Ghostbusters, or Ninja Turtles. I have quite the collection, guys. Richard was actually saying that he likes my stuff. I got a few replica props. I haven't got too many real ones. I've got like one or two real ones, but not too many. A lot of them are replicas, but go ahead and check it out, buddy. What do you think?
Yeah, looks good.
Some of my favorite pieces are the Halloween 3 mask. That's Shadow Picard from Star Trek: The Next Generation. That's his family's wine. I got the bottle. I like some of the hockey masks. I actually bought that hockey mask in the back from Salem.
Wait, were
So
you the one that said that you have like a lot of hockey masks?
yeah, it was me.
And how many do you have?
Let's see. Now I have one, two, three, four, five, six. I have six showing, and then I bought some others that are in boxes down in my basement because I'm filling up my desk quite quickly. So with the ones here, and then the ones in my basement, I'd say I have 9 total. But right now I have 6 showing. You can't really see this one, but that one was signed by Kane. That was signed by Kane Hodder. That's signed by, I believe, the guy that did Friday the 13th Part 3. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Kane signed that one. This one right here in the middle, I forgot his name, but he played in Part 6, and he signed it. So, yeah, I got quite the ensemble of props and stuff.
That's a mask that you wear or what?
Yeah, that's the hockey masks you can wear. I don't wear them because whenever I get signatures on them.
The pumpkin
Yeah,
one?
yeah. You can wear this as a mask. It's a pumpkin mask. It was straight out of Halloween 3. I mean, it's a replica. It's not the real one, but they made it look exactly like the one from Halloween 3. And it's got the little microchip and stuff on the back, like how they did it in the film. So yeah, so you collect pops, right? So do you collect anything else?
No, I actually don't. But if they have a Kano one, I'll pick it up.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm not into, listen, I got enough Star Wars toys from back in the day that are unopened because of what I used to do is buy one to sell, buy one to open, and buy one to display. So I used to buy 3 of everything.
Oh, nice.
Unfortunately, the Star Wars stuff that I bought was in the 90s, so they just made a ton of it. So it's not really worth that much money.
I lucked out. I got all my dad's old Star Trek. I bought some stuff in the 80s and 90s, and then I sold some stuff like when I went off to college. Wish I wouldn't have. Got some of my stuff back, and I recently just got some new pieces from Star Trek. I got the communicator, his Shadow Picard wine, and then the phaser right here. Those are the only ones that I have displayed, but I have tons in boxes. So whenever I get my own place, I'm gonna have to find something bigger than this to display my whole.
That'd be awesome. You need a man cave.
The man cave is coming, my friend. So yeah, we met down at the Toy and Expo, but I definitely love your work. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I love. Let's start at the beginning, though. So the beginning. So I guess your first big gig was helping create the first Mortal Kombat, being in it, or was there anything before that made your big break, or was that the big one?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze. That was the first thing. That was before Mortal Kombat.
Okay, so let's start with that. So that one came first, and how did that project come up? How did you hear about it, and how did you get involved with that project?
Well, everyone knows Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat 1, Hosung Pak. Hosung and I grew up since we were like 13 years old, did martial arts, and Hosung had been a tournament competitor through the national circuit in the U.S., and he was pretty damn good. You're talking like Jet Li status. He was really just awesome.
Oh, nice.
But after the first Turtles film was made, they needed some new stunt turtles. I guess the director didn't like working with the 4 guys that were stunt turtles that were from Hong Kong. It was very hard to explain, hey, I need you to do a kick here. I need you to do this. So the stunt choreographer, Pat Johnson, he had the task of looking through the national martial arts circuit, karate tournaments, like your local, karate tournament that's going on at the church down the block or wherever, or any of the big convention centers. He found Hosung Pak very easily too, because Hosung was like a national champion. He had been winning all of these shows. So, and the kind of martial arts that we all did was called wushu, which is what Jet Li does. So
Okay.
if you see any Jet Li films,
Oh, I'm
you
a
see
big
how
Jet Li fan. I love Jet Li. I
you
like
see how flashy that kung fu is on the screen, as opposed to, let's say, karate is a hard style. It's, you've seen in films, kung fu is pretty flashy. So the style is called wushu.
Mhm.
And on the day, Daniel, who plays Johnny Cage, Daniel Pacina, myself, and Ho Sung Pak, we're working out like at a local park district, and we got back home. We were about to go eat, and the phone rang, and it happened to be Pat Johnson, who was the stunt choreographer for the Turtles films.
Okay.
Now, if you ever saw the movie Karate Kid,
Yes.
Pat Johnson is the guy that is between Ralph Macchio and the guy that he's fighting. I forgot that.
He's the ref, right?
He's the referees,
He's the
and
ref.
he's like, break, and because he's got a mustache.
Hmm.
That's Pat Johnson. So he's the guy who's on the other line on the phone, and I'm at Hosung's house, and we're hungry. We worked out for like 4 or 5 hours, and he's on the phone. I'm like, get off the phone, let's go, and he's like, Psh, it's an important phone call. He gets off the phone. He says, you'll never believe who that was. And we're like, who? Let's go. We got to go eat. We're starving. So we went and ate at Wendy's.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
and on Tui Avenue in
You know what?
Chicago,
It should have been the BK Lounge, man. It should have been the BK Lounge. Fears' favorite. It should have been the BK Lounge.
it was the Wendy's on Tui in Lincolnwood, Illinois. If you're ever up to Lincolnwood, Illinois, the Wendy's is still there. But that's where we sat down
Okay.
and we found out what that phone call was all about. Well, Ho Sung was hired there on the spot. They said that they had sought him out, and they wanted him to play Raphael in the
That's
Teenage
awesome.
The Secret of the Ooze Part 2. So that was awesome. But right away we were like, well, you're going to get us in the movie, right? Is because you got to get us in the movie.
Exactly.
You got to get us in there. So
Like, be a good friend and get us in this damn movie.
yeah, this is my break. So he right away had to go to Jim Henson's Creature Shop in London. They flew him out like a week later. They fitted him for the Turtles costume, and we had, back then there were no cell phones. It was like waiting at your house, for the phone on the wall, and Ho Sung called, and he called Daniel, and Daniel called me. I was living with my mom at the time. God, I was probably like 21 years old. I'll be 50 this year. So that tells you how far back that is. It's like 1991, I think, something like that.
Hmm.
Um, but Daniel says, Ho Sung says, if we want to be in the film, we got to get down to North Carolina, like right away. So Daniel picked me up in the morning. We drove like 20 hours, or I don't know what it was, to Wilmington, North Carolina, to Carolco Studios, and we met Ho Sung there. And this is
Hmm.
all before Mortal Kombat. So
Yeah.
it's weird because you got like a future Liu Kane, a future Johnny Cage, and a future Kano.
Yeah.
Three guys that have known each other since they were really young, and now we're about to work on a major motion picture. So for me, it was exciting. I was away from home for 3 months. I called my mom. I said, I got the part. I'm going to be a foot soldier. So I was one of the Foot Clan. Daniel was a Foot Clan soldier.
Hmm.
And we were in many of the fight scenes with Ho Sung Pak. And
Nice.
it was the best experience of my life. It was awesome.
So 3 months, and I remember asking you this question, but I'll ask it again because I know some of my fans don't always catch all of my videos. So I asked him basically, guys, in the Toy and Comic Expo, how long did you guys film in New York? And Richard actually said very little. And can you explain why that was?
Sure. Actually, I wasn't in New York, but in Wilmington, North Carolina, on the sound stage, or let's just say the back lot. They have a back lot that looks like New York City.
That's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, you said a backlot. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So they filmed simultaneously. They were filming a movie called 29th Street with Danny Aiello and Anthony LaPaglia, and then on another back lot was Rambling Rose. They were filming that movie as well. So that was pretty neat to be able to see how that all worked. But yeah, a lot of the New York scenes were done in Wilmington.
Now, and do you know how much they shot of it in New York? Because like they shot all of your stuff first, right, in Carolina, and they got all your guys' stuff done first, or did they do it simultaneously?
I believe they had. From being there, I remember they had said that there was another crew picking up footage in New York as well.
Okay,
So
all
they're
right,
doing this stuff simultaneously.
yeah.
They put it all together later. So
Yeah, and so you said, I remember, didn't you say your favorite scene was in the lab sequence?
yeah, the TGRI lab where we were tossing around the canister. That was great.
Yeah, and you said you wanted to see. I remember from our interview in Salem, you said you wanted to see yourself in the film. So you said, "I got an idea. I'll do some
Well,
crane moves."
yeah, well, I had a mask on, so I knew I wasn't going to be able to see myself as
Yeah.
a foot soldier. So, but most of the fellows that were there were hard style karate or taekwondo martial artists. And Daniel and I and Ho Sung, we were pretty much the only kung fu guys. So, and if you know a little bit about karate and kung fu is a little bit more like a smooth art. It
Hmm.
flows. You've seen the Jet Li films. Karate is a little bit very 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 stiff. So when I was in background action, we were up on this little ledge, and we were to jump off and surprise the turtles while they were looking at the canister. And they got a shot of us doing that. And I knew that if I would do like my 7-star praying mantis moves, that I would be able to point that out. If I ever were to watch that on Blu-ray one day or DVD or whatever,
Hmm.
I knew I'd be able to pull it out. There is a scene that's pretty neat that I did. They wanted to film a shadow sequence where the foot were sneaking up on the TGRI lab.
I remember this. Oh yes, I've seen it.
When
Oh
you
yeah.
watch that back, you're gonna see the shadow of a foot soldier twirling like a weapon in their hand. You'll see the shadow of it spin,
Okay,
and that was me.
that's awesome.
Because
That is
I was
awesome.
just fooling around, but I did that, and then they called me back, and they're like, wait. I'm like, yeah, do that again, do that again. See, so what they call that is they call that scene stealing.
Yeah.
When you do acting stuff, that you do what you can to try to get airtime, because you may never be used again, and everybody wants to make it, so you're trying to do something a little bit different. You don't want to be annoying, but you definitely want to you want to get that screen time. So
Hmm.
I tried to do that as much as possible.
So you had the shadow scene, you had the lab scene, and then how many other scenes? Because I don't know if I asked you this question down in Salem.
Yeah,
How
there's,
many how many full scenes did you have in the film?
I can't even count. I was in the whole film. So
Okay.
the toy store in the beginning where we had these stockings on our face, and we
Hmm.
were running in and out of the toy store. The junkyard with Toka and Razar.
Okay.
That was pretty cool. That was awesome. Yeah, there was some scene where I was up on a skyscraper, but it was inside of a soundstage, and so. Um, but yeah, just there's so many different scenes. I have one day I'll release all of the photos that I have from behind the scenes, which are
I
pretty.
know. It's after I met you, Richard. I was like, he's
I
got a
didn't put
chick.
those on. Yeah.
I was like, on the way home, I stopped at a gas station, filling up my gas, and I was like, I forgot to sub to him. He subbed to me. I'm subbing right now. So right when I was pumping my gas, literally like 10 minutes after that convention was done, I went sub on both my channels. So I'm subbed to you on my vlog channel and on my main channel. I was like sub right away, and I've been watching your stuff. He has been releasing. Do you want to tell the fans what you've been releasing on your channel so far?
Oh, okay. Yeah, on my actual YouTube channel.
Hmm.
Actually, a lot of that footage has been up there for a long time. I just switched over, so now I have two YouTube channels. But this is my Mortal Kombat actor, Richard Divizio. So just look up Richard Divizio, Divizio, on YouTube, and there's all different kinds of things from Mortal Kombat to acting reels that I've done. Ho Sung Pak and I did a small film that Ho Sung pretty much funded himself.
Mhm.
called The Book of Swords. At that time, I had no acting experience, so it's a little hard to look at. So I'll admit that.
I
But
think I've seen that one. Isn't the one like where you and him are talking like in a subway or something, or like in an
yeah,
alleyway or something?
yeah, that's actually like around 18th Street in Chicago, near
Oh, nice.
Maxwell Street, or near UIC College. But yeah, there's like a viaduct that we're underneath, and you know, it's called the movie's called The Book of Swords, and I have this book. It's pretty powerful, and you know, and he wants it back, and so, and then you know, I'm like the lead villain. My name is Taz.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
my henchman and I, we have his girlfriend, and you know, we're holding her hostage. So, but yeah, he and I fight over it. So it's a pretty cool fight scene that's there.
I'd say my favorite thing to watch on your channel, hands down, is all the behind the scenes and all the blooper reels of you making the Mortal Kombat stuff. Like he's he's got dozens and dozens of blooper reels between you and I forgot that girl's name. Like you guys are just laughing back and forth. She can't keep a straight face. You're sitting in that chair and you're like, I don't know if we're ever gonna get through this. That was my favorite.
Yeah, that was where I was playing Quan Chi. So I said, "Do not question me, Serena. And more importantly, do not fail me. We have toyed with a ninja long enough."
And then she just couldn't get her line out. She was like, I got to do this again. I got to do this. And it's like 8 or 9 takes, guys. Like, but it was just, that was one of my, that's probably my favorite video you've put up so far. I mean, I've watched them all, but hands down, I mean, who doesn't like a good blooper reel? So yeah. Anyway, so let's get back to Turtle. So, if you had to pick a favorite scene, hands down, what's your favorite scene? And what's your favorite turtle?
Raphael.
Raphael? Why
Yeah.
Why Raphael?
You know, working with one of my best friends, you know, Hosang Pak, and
Mm-hmm.
so known each other since we were kids. So,
But as a
you know,
but as a character, why do you like Raphael so much?
well, let me tell you a little secret about that. So, when Hosang got that role, I had never seen Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. So
Okay.
right away, we were like, "Oh God, we're going to be in part 2, The Secret of the Ooze. We better go and watch part 1 so
Yeah.
that we kind of know what's going on." So I never really followed, you know, the Turtles. I know that I actually had a Turtles comic book, but back in the '90s, I never in late '80s. I bought comic books not to read them. I bought them to collect them because I knew they
Mm-hmm.
were going to be worth a lot of money. So I have comics that are sitting in those, like, you know, those plastic things that have never been read.
Oh wow.
And there's a few that I should have bought that I didn't, that are worth a lot that I should have bought. Actually, the Turtles ones,
Mm-hmm.
those comic books are worth a lot of money, the original ones.
Oh nice.
So as far as a favorite character goes, like I know they each have their own personality,
Yeah.
but I never really followed that, just to be honest with you. So, you know, I couldn't say why, you know, one was my favorite, but
Okay.
you know,
I followed them pretty hardcore. It was Ghostbusters and Ninja Turtles. As a kid, I hardly played with anything else. It would probably be when I was a kid. It was Ghostbusters, Ninja Turtles. I'd say Ghostbusters first, then Ninja Turtles, then Legos, and then video games. Any other thing I played with was at my friend's house that I didn't have. So if they're like, "Hey, you want to play with Batman? You want to play with Jurassic Park?" I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I guess we can." But if you got some Ninja Turtles, you got some Ghostbusters. Let's do that first. So
here's a
yeah.
collector item that you might want to look for. You know, John Tobias, he's the original artist on Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Okay. Before John Tobias worked for Midway Games, he was a comic book artist and he worked for Now Comics. And he drew the real Ghostbusters comic book.
Okay.
And his art, if you've ever seen his art, it's awesome. So if you're ever looking for the real Ghostbusters comic book, yeah, John Tobias did all the art for that.
That's awesome. Yeah,
You know, he did that before Mortal Kombat. So if you want a piece of, you know, history, now watch, everybody's going to go run into the comic book stores and looking for that printed
exactly.
1990 or 1989 or whatever.
Before we continue on, I just want to say thank you so much for the autograph, guys. I went with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles the autograph, but the next time we hang out at a convention, I'm definitely going to ask you for a Mortal Kombat autograph. I need to get the set. I need to get the set. So,
hey, hold on one second. Someone wants to say hello.
okay.
Hey, come on over here. Come say hi. Just pop your head in here real quick. Hurry up. Come on, we're on television.
Okay. Wait, can I go on this side?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
These are my two kiddos.
Hi.
Hi, how are you guys?
I'm good. How are you? Hi.
Doing good. Just hanging out with your dad, just talking Mortal Kombat, just talking Ninja Turtles, bringing some classics back. So, yeah. So we're trying to get him some more exposure to his YouTube channel. I'm trying to get some more exposure. We kind of became buddies at the Salem event, and now we're going to do some collab videos together. But it was wonderful to meet you guys.
So next week, next week, this one right here, we're going to Stranger Things convention.
Okay, so what's that? What's that about?
Have you watched Stranger Things?
A little bit, but I don't know too much about it. That's why I asked. To be honest, I can't lie to my fans. I've only watched maybe 1 or 2 episodes.
Okay, you know the girl with the shaved head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're gonna meet her next week. So
cool.
Millie Bobby Brown. So we're gonna do that, and I'm taking this one, and then we're in a couple weeks we're going to the Supernatural convention.
Okay.
If you like Supernatural too.
Now, I'm just curious. Do you take your kids at all to any like the Mortal Kombat cons that you were talking about, or are they going to show up for any of those, or are they not?
If they want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they want to.
I mean, I hope so. For like, I mean, maybe not the Arizona one.
No, not the far away one. So.
Yeah. I was just curious because I was like, some kids are into Mortal Kombat, some kids aren't. So I was.
They're not really. They're they're not into it.
We're just Kano's daughters.
Just Kano's daughters.
Exactly.
Bye.
Well, if you want to watch the whole thing, have them subscribe to Fears Vlogs and Fears Man 26. You guys are going to see the whole interview. So anyway, so let's get back. I never let you finish. What was your favorite scene out of Turtles, and why?
Favorite scene? Yeah, I probably the TGRI lab.
Because you had so much film time on that.
Yeah, I had more film time on that, and
okay.
I actually, I enjoyed the process. At that time, I wasn't sure where I was going to go, whether I was going to, continue pursuing acting or behind the scenes. And for me, when when others weren't filming or I was done filming, I, would hang out by the cameraman, and I would look through the lens of the those Panavision cameras. And my gosh, if you ever look through one of those cameras and you see like the widescreen, it looks like it's letterbox through there. It looks awesome. It's beautiful.
I got to do a little bit of that
movie,
Yeah, I got to do a little bit of that at film school. Like they would let us play with like the big, kind of like the big toys, the big cameras. We got to work with
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got to work with all that. We got to work. My school had a massive crane. The crane would go up, and there'd be a camera on the top of the crane, and we did some crane shots. We did some wide stuff. So I got to play with all that. But now, I mean, I only use really like 3 or 4 cameras. I mean, I use my cell phone, a GoPro. I have a Kodak camera that I use sometimes. So it doesn't. All my fans are telling me it doesn't depend on how new the equipment is. It's what you do with the equipment, and you just put yourself out there and make the best content. So
you've been to film school and
I went to film. No, I went to film school. I'm done. I went there for 4 years.
Citizen Kane, then.
I've seen Citizen Kane. It's a good film. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but
when I was in film class, they they have you learn the angles and the lighting and and how dramatic how they used to do things.
There was one class literally where we just watched movies, and then the teacher would say, I want to report about that movie by the end of the week. Like we had to write how many scenes this had in it, how much money they spent on it, how many props were made for the film, how many costumes. And like she would pick, sometimes we got to pick the films other times she would pick it. She'd be like, "We're gonna watch the original Frankenstein, and I want you to rip that movie apart and give us a detailed like analysis report about it." And I really enjoyed it. I went out to film school in Arizona, so I was out there for 4 years. So
that's awesome.
So, did you take anything from the set? I forgot to ask you that at the sailing thing. Did they let you keep any props? Did you take anything?
I'll see you later.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I did not.
Did they let you keep your? Did they let you keep your Foot Clan costume?
They wanted you to return it. So all I can say is that I didn't take anything.
Okay. All right. Enough said, guys. Enough said. All right. So let's
really,
move. I know you're not. So let's move on to Mortal Kombat. I'm going to ask the fans in a minute if they got any turtle questions, and actually right now we'll ask if you guys got any turtle questions. Ask now, and then we'll move on to Mortal Kombat because I've been kind of just focused on you, Richard. And they've been talking. They've been saying all good things. So I'll just give them like a minute or two. And if you guys want to ask any turtle questions, that'd be great. If not, we'll save all the questions for the end. It's up to you guys. While I'm waiting for some questions, Richard. So once you got done with the turtles, oh, I'm sorry. 2 more questions about turtles. You actually killed 2 birds with 1 stone when you were once you filmed all the TGRI scenes. You said you actually got a second cameo in it. Like you had to play one of the thug guys at the beginning. You know, did you film the thug guys part first, or did you film all of the Foot Clan stuff first?
The Foot Clan stuff came after. The first day of filming was in the toy store in the mall.
Okay.
With the thug mask. That was the very first day of filming.
And I actually found you after you told me that off camera. I found you. Yeah. Right. Right when you're about to it's right after they jump. You guys are walking up, and then he's all like, "Oh, help!" like that, and then like some guy you hear like, you better call for help or something like that. You hear someone say that in the background. The turtles pop up, they bounce up, and right as they come down, you see yourself like you're right in the front row. So I saw you before they came into the shot, and then after they landed, and I was like, "Oh, there is Richard. There he is." So I only saw you twice in it, and I really watched it frame for frame. I saw you twice, but I'm sure you were in it more than that. But
yeah, you know what's weird is like when you film stuff like this, you're there all day. It's 12-hour days, and you're hoping because you're there. You see the camera from the perspective from where you're standing, and you're thinking, "Yeah, they got me. They got me. I know I'm on film. I know I'm on film."
Yeah.
But when you see it later on, when they edit everything, it's just so fast, and unless you're there with with dialogue and and you're actually one of the main characters, you're not going to get that much screen time. It's gonna go by pretty quick. So that's why you really have to do stuff to try to make yourself stand out.
I was about to say that. I'm like, you got to do something that makes it pop, so they're like, "Ooh, we like that. Do that again. We want that right in front of the camera. Do that."
Well, I told you that I was in The Dark Knight, right?
No, I did not know that. So we can go into that too.
Well, in Chicago, the one where Heath Ledger died, Joker, that was the one, The Dark Knight in Chicago. I had gone to be, I was just looking for some, just some fun, side work, and I went for a film called Rory's First Kiss.
Okay.
And I found out about that, and that was actually the code name for The Dark Knight.
Oh, gotcha.
Rory's First Kiss. So they didn't want a bunch of, like Batman fans to show up to try to be in the film. So that's why they had a code name. So I went, I checked it out. And when I walked in there, you could see a wardrobe full of all of these orange jumpsuits that said on the back, check this out, Gotham City Correctional Center.
Oh, nice.
These, And I'm looking at it and I'm going, and we're all looking at each other, all the extras. We were just kind of in this room. And we're like, this is not Rory's first kiss. I bet you this is the Batman movie. So
Yeah.
they come out and they're like, well, we bet you guessed it by now. So, but they pulled me from those extras. And they said, can you come with us? So I walked with them and they said, we want you to be a Chechen gangster. So I guess, they thought I had some mean look or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always embraced that tough, exterior to play those types of parts. So, it is what it is. You use what you got, right?
I never caught you in Batman, but I have it on DVD and Blu-ray. So maybe tonight before I go to bed, I am going to check that out. So I'm going to. So
the scene that I'm in is I'm in a few different scenes, but it goes by so fast that you don't really get a lot of airtime. But there is a scene where what is it? The lieutenant was it Gary Oldman comes in to arrest.
Yeah,
we're in like a restaurant, and I'm sitting against the wall. Did I show you? I didn't show you that picture, huh?
No, you didn't. The only pictures I saw at Salem was all the Turtle stuff and some behind the scenes of Mortal Kombat, and then your Mortal Kombat publicity shoots, like where you guys were standing by the actual arcade console. And I saw a few of those, but yeah, I never saw that one. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when I was there was another Mortal Kombat actor that was there as well that I bumped into, John Turk, who plays Sub-Zero and I believe MK3. So he was there. He's another friend of mine. So, but yeah, it was a fun time.
Well, we learn something every day, guys. That was a little tidbit. I've been Richard's friend for a couple of months now. Did not even know that. That's awesome, man. So I'm gonna switch gears, guys, because they've been talking about Mortal Kombat. A little bit of Turtles in the chat, but they've been talking Mortal Kombat. So we're gonna switch to Mortal Kombat. Someone wanted me to ask you, do you like Sub-Zero as a character?
Sure.
Awesome. Okay.
Well, that was anybody who could throw ice and freeze somebody.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, I mean, that was he asked it twice, and I saw it go up the page, and I was like, well, I better get it, before I forget. So that was an easy answer, guys. So
see, here's the thing. If he's a Mortal Kombat fan that goes real deep into the character, storyline and stuff like that, he may be asking that question from that point of view. But as far as just generally, do I, because at the time, we weren't really deep into the storyline. It was kind of like, hey, here's this game. Here's this guy who can throw ice, or this is the guy who can throw a rope dart and, get over here, stuff, I wasn't really thinking like, with the Lin Kuei and Scorpion and Sub-Zero. And I know there was a whole backstory that a lot of the fans, know. Some don't, some do, some follow it, some don't. So maybe he was asking from that, point of view. I'm not sure, but
I think he in the comments he said that he had liked the character, and he was like, I wonder if Richard likes it. Hey, John, can you ask him? I was like, sure, I'll ask him. They want me to do some follow-up questions to Batman though before we move on to Mortal Kombat. So I'm sorry that if I'm jumping around a lot. A follow-up question for Batman is did that, when you were on the set of Batman, did that lead to another project? Like, did you make some contacts when you did the extras and stuff? Like, did you make any new contacts, get any new projects out of it?
No.
Okay, so it was like...
but I had to go to the bathroom one day.
Okay.
And it was in this very, very old Italian... I mean, not Italian. It was Italian. No, not Italian. It was German. I think it was called the Berghoff restaurant. And, they were like, okay, extras, take a break, whatever. So they go to the bathroom. I go down there. I'm going to the bathroom. And down, like a few stalls down, is Christopher Nolan.
Oh, wow.
Who's the director?
Oh, man.
I'm just like, it's just like, it's just like quiet in there. Like, you're Christopher Nolan,
Did you go up and say hi?
Put me in one of your movies, you know. Put me in one of your movies, you know.
Did you go up and say hi to him or introduce yourself or no?
In the bathroom, you don't do that.
I mean, I was just curious. I was like, maybe I wonder if Richard like waited until he got out, like
you wash your hands, you dry them off, and you're like,
well, yeah, I know, yeah, I know.
But, that was just cool, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
There were what's that? Julia Roberts' brother, Eric Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
He's a pretty cool guy. We did a lot of scenes with him, and he's actor-wise, he's not snobbish. He's even though the extras were there, we were all, you know, on our marks of where we needed to be. In between the scenes, he would joke with you.
Mm-hmm.
So, and just laugh it up. He was great.
Did you get to check out the Batmobile? Did you get to see it?
No. The scene we were in, there was no Batmobile.
Oh man.
It was done under like a lot of, you know, downtown and under Lower Wacker Drive. I was hoping that I would be near a scene with that, but I was not.
So how many scenes did you get to do in The Dark Knight?
Courtroom. I was in the courtroom when everybody was yelling and screaming.
Oh, nice.
I was in there. The restaurant where everyone got arrested and they pulled everyone out.
Mm-hmm.
What else was I in? There was another scene that we did down at one of the shipyards, but that one was cool. They actually gave me a gun that I had to hold, and
cool.
I had never used a gun before, so they filmed that, but they ended up not using that at all.
Yeah, because like when you played a thug in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like you guys had a couple of weapons, but like I remember watching that as a kid, and I was like, why wouldn't they have like guns, like they're thugs and stuff? But then I thought, oh well, it's a movie for kids. That's probably what. Yeah.
We use our feet.
Exactly. Yeah. So did you get to see any of like the Joker scenes, and like what did you think of his performance as the Joker? Did you like it?
His performance was great. It's unfortunate, you know, what happened.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's very.
So Hollywood's missing, you know, a very talented actor. So, but you know, I did not get to see any of those scenes.
Oh, so you saw that after the film was made. Okay, gotcha. Cool.
But the scene in the restaurant was with Gary Oldman. So
nice.
We were there, you know, sitting at the tables, and they would call action. And Gary would come in and he would do his line. And Eric Roberts was sitting at the table with the Chechen leader. And they were eating dinner, and then they came in to arrest everyone. But they had a few exchanges of words back and forth. So it was kind of neat just to see the process of, you know, real actors doing their thing. And, you know, it's like you're quiet, everyone's quiet, just they're delivering their lines, and then they do it again, and then they do it again, and you know, and it's pretty neat process, and
I mean,
makes you want to one day somehow be, be a part of doing that, you know, and in a small way, I did when I did Mortal Kombat mythologies, the Sub-Zero mythologies, because that's where that Quan Chi and the Do Not Fail Me, Serena, that's where that came about. When John Tobias did that game, which was between Mortal Kombat 3 and Mortal Kombat 4, he wanted to add some live action video with us acting in it. So that gave me an opportunity to work on my acting.
That's awesome.
But before that, when I did Book of Swords with Ho Sung Pak, if you watch it back, you'll see I had no acting experience, you know, so I didn't know how to be in the moment, as they say.
Well, like you said, like the more practice you do, the more films you do, you know, the better you get. Because, like you said, like you've done, like you got to do another film, like while you were doing, you know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like they asked you to be in that Italian movie. You did that, then you did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, then Batman. So by the time you got to Batman, you're like, all right, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to, you know, I'm ready to shoot. So yeah. So what character did you play in the Italian movie? I forgot the name of it. Forgive me. I'm sorry.
In that one, I was just like a street thug.
Okay.
There was no name. It was they just needed some Italian guys because we were, you know, down in Wilmington, and
And didn't you tell me somebody came to the set and said, "Look, we're filming another movie like on the same lot, and we need some more Italian guys. We need you in this film."
Yes, that is what happened. I was walking from wardrobe through the hallway, and the casting director, she says, "Hey, you come back here." She's like, "Where are you from?" And I said, "I'm from Chicago." And she's like, "Get in here." I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "You're working on Turtles?" I said, "Yeah." And she says, "When are you not working on Turtles?" And I said, "Well, I could find out." So there were some days where I didn't have any scenes, and then I had to get permission from Pat Johnson, actually. And so, and then I got to be on 29th Street.
That's awesome.
Pretty good movie. You got to see it.
That's cool. All right, guys. So now I'm finally going to move because I didn't know you were into Batman. So we had a couple Batman questions. So now I'm going to finally move to Mortal Kombat. So first question right out of the bat, you did Mortal Kombat video games 1 through 4. What did you think about the Mortal Kombat movies? Like, because I know you told me they didn't want anything to do with like the original actors, and I was wondering why they didn't give you guys a call. Why didn't they want any of your input or anything like that? And what did you think of the 2 films?
Hold on one second. Do you see what's in the background here? Is this
Yes.
I tried to load some Mortal Kombat stuff back there, but
yeah.
There's a dragon.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Cool. Awesome.
Anyway, oh no, it's been going on the whole time. Like everyone was like asking like later, like John, like whenever the interview's done, like to sign off, have him play like as Kano. I was like, oh, we'll get him to play a little bit, before we leave. So don't worry, guys. So yeah, it's been playing the whole time. So yeah, it's coming in good.
Awesome, cool. Yeah, when John Tobias found out that Larry Kazanoff, who was the producer of True Lies, bought the rights from Midway Games to turn this into a film, all of us guys were pretty excited. We thought, oh, well, we're going to be in the film. That's not the way it works, because when Hollywood's paying for it, they're going to, I want to say, get actors that are known, but a lot of the actors that they had in the film were not known. Christopher Lambert, who played Raiden, he was known.
Yeah,
but a lot of the other ones were not. But
also, that girl, the girl that played Sonya, I think she was a little known, right?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you.
I think I've seen her. Name's Bridget something. I've seen her in a couple of things, but that was about it. But the other guys that played like Johnny Cage and like Liu Kang, I never had seen those guys on film until that movie.
Yeah, and if they were new, we were new. I mean, definitely we would have liked to have been given the opportunity, but they're paying for it, so they get to use who they want to use. We did get to go on set.
Oh, nice.
And visit LA, which was kind of cool. And but we were not in the film.
So when you went to go visit the set, what sets did you see?
Well, when I first walked in, it was kind of neat because I always love behind the scenes. So the carpenters were building like the temples.
Oh, nice.
And so you're seeing everything in wood and foam, and before they paint it and spray it, and so it's kind of a cool process to see that, and then where they're going to block scenes out, and it's pretty neat. Did
you get to see anything else besides the temples, like any other set pieces or any other sets?
No, that's it. Because I was only there for like about a day.
Oh, okay.
Actually, we did try out for the film.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but I can't tell you the story right now of why we were not in it. I'll have to tell it to you when you're in St. Louis.
Okay, yeah. Well, we may have to save that for another interview, because I definitely want to hear that, because my fans were kind of asking, and I was kind of curious. I was like, you would think they would go to the original, the creators, the people that did it first, because that was it wasn't the first video game I played, but it was one of the first few video games that I played, and like I just can't believe that they wouldn't ask for your advice, your suggestions. Like your thing that you made up is in the film. Like the like when he rips the mask off. Like, guys, I don't know if you know this, but Richard.
Tell them, Johnny. You tell them.
Oh, I will. I'll tell him. Richard created for Scorpion. He created the get over here, where he throws the spear through the body and pulls him back. And he said, and then I think the director said, like, we need something else for Scorpion. He's like, well, I love skeletons. Why don't you just have him pull off his mask and just shoot fire out of a skeleton skull? And they're like, oh, that's genius. Let's do it. And that's in the film. And I was like, where are Richard's royalty rights? Where is this? I can't believe they didn't ask you, but yeah,
so,
that's pretty. That's
all that stuff that you see in the film. There would be no film if there was no game.
Exactly.
So we're going all the way back to like 1992, and we showed the game in 1993 Consumer Electronics Show here in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So, but. Yeah, all
I
that
just
stuff.
I just can't believe that they would not, go to the, the original, the creators. But did you get to go to? Did they give you a pass to go to the movie premiere?
Nope.
That sucks. Oh, my Lord. All right, let's move on. let's get to some better. I was just curious about that. But as a film, did you like the film, or did you not like the films? Bad. Gotcha.
2 thumbs down.
For both 1 and 2?
And not because I wasn't in it. I just visually, I think that they could have done a lot better. But I think that I just think that the money they put into it, and I think they just wanted to. How can I say this? They wanted to put the least amount of money into it. Not a lot, but enough to, because they probably weren't, they probably didn't think, they didn't want to spend too much money, because if it failed, then they would lose a lot.
Yeah,
so
like whenever
just enough, yeah, just they did just enough to get by.
Because whenever you watch the film, most of it is shot on sets. There's only a couple of scenes that are at locations. Like they shot a couple of on that island, and them going to the island, and then I think they shot it like at a nightclub, for Sonya's stuff, and I think that's about it for like location stuff, and then everything else is on like on sets and stuff. So
what's weird is like just being a guy who likes film, and I'm an original Star Wars guy, and once the films went to like a lot of stuff digital, I like that. Like Rogue One went back to like that gritty, look, like kind of like the original Star Wars. That same feeling and along those kinds of lines, also to me, are the same. Like when you're filming a movie that has a lot of sets built, and a lot of interior stuff, where you could actually, it would look a lot better if you would just get those shots outdoors.
Yeah,
that's kind of the same thing to me, where you're like cutting corners, and some people have the eye to pick that up, and some don't. I can see stuff and go, yeah, looks like they cheaped out, but obviously, if you go somewhere on location, it's going to cost a lot of money to bring a crew, and but now things are getting digital, and now it's getting to the point where you almost can't tell whether they're on location or not.
Yeah, I mean, like some scenes you're like, I think that was location. They're like, nope, we did it on a green screen. We did it on and then we did some other stuff on a blue screen. Yep, we just said we're done. We're moving on.
Yeah, it's definitely getting better. So.
Oh yeah. All right, so let's go back to the origin. So what were you doing before the game was a game? So you guys were just been buddies, childhood buddies, and were you working or like what were you doing? And then what led to the idea of the game?
Well, when I was working on Turtles, before Turtles, I was pretty much 21 years old. I was working at a post office in downtown Chicago. Pretty much practiced martial arts every single day. But after Turtles, I came back. I didn't work at that post office any longer. After that, I'd gotten the movie bug, so I wanted to definitely do something along those lines. But when I got back from the Turtles film, John Tobias called me, and he was working for Midway Games, and he was the lead artist on Mortal Kombat. Now, at the time, there was no game called Mortal Kombat. It was just John Tobias's task working for Midway Games was to come up with a game that would blow Street Fighter out of the water.
Okay, all right. So that's where the idea originated. Like they called him and said, "Look, Street Fighter was great, but we want something better than Street Fighter. So go off, think of an idea, and blow it out of the water."
Yes, and what they had, what their plan originally was to hire Jean-Claude Van Damme, and they were going to. He would have been like the original Johnny Cage. Like a Hollywood actor turned martial artist, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what I mean? But damn, it didn't work out with Midway. I don't think he wanted to do it. You know, he was already a Hollywood actor, and if he's coming down to a video game level, I don't think he wanted to do that. So John kind of had to scramble. And he remembered that his friends, myself, Daniel, Hosung, that we did martial arts. So I had gotten a phone call at my dad's house where I was living right after I got back from Turtles. And it was John. He says, he's like, you know, I'm working for Midway Games. He had asked me, you know, you guys are back from the film. Do you guys think you guys could come in here? And I want to try something. Okay. He wants to try something. So we went in there. We went against like some sort of like a grayish, you know, I don't want to say a blue screen, but something like that, like in a closet. There was no studio. It was kind of like a makeshift closet kind of thing with the backdrop.
Yeah.
And at that time, there was no real, I don't want to say digital, but it was like high-8 video that he's filming us with. And so, excuse me just a moment. Erica, can you get me some water? Yeah. Thanks. I am getting thirsty.
I am too.
Yeah. So, like, can you get 2 waters?
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna grab a water. I'm gonna grab some water from my bathroom. Is that cool?
Okay, I'll continue on with the story.
All right. Yeah. Give me 1 second because I'm dying of thirst too. So give me 1 second, guys.
Just use that one that's there. I know you got a beer there.
Okay, I got some water now. Go ahead.
You got a beer, right? I'm just kidding.
I wish I had a beer. This is one of the best interviews I've ever done. So, yeah.
I bet you didn't know that Kano has never had a beer.
Never? Well, you know what? I will give you credit where credit is due. You know,
I've never had a beer. Thank you.
Are you more like of a liquor guy, or are you just don't do any booze at all?
Let's say I go to a wedding or something. I'll have like, you know, like a top shelf drink.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. But beer, I don't know. Maybe I have to try one of them and see how they are. But yeah, I've never had one.
Yeah, they're all right. I like so. So anyway, so you guys are in this makeshift studio, and then what happens next?
So John films us, and we, I guess they had some frame grabbing software where you can frame, I think video was like 30 frames a second, and he doesn't really need all 30 frames. So he can have you stand there and do like a motion, and he can loop that.
Oh, nice.
Over and over and over again. So let's say he grabs like 8 frames out of the 30. He could just have me, you know, in a cycled position on the screen. So I did that, and he's like, come back here and check this out. And he had a monitor, and he's like, this is you on the screen. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. He's like, go back there and stand there in the same spot, but I want you to throw a punch. So now I'm like going like this, and I go, I throw a punch like that. So he films that little brief animation.
Okay.
Then he layers those on top of each other. But he only calls up the video of me kind of just getting ready to fight somebody. But Ed Boon, the programmer, he there's a console there with a button for punch, and he assigns that button to pull up the animation of me punching.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as you press that, the animation comes that quick, lightning, to the punch, but then it defaults back to the cycle. So every time you hit the punch button, it'll just go boom. It'll punch like that.
That's cool.
So we're looking at this thing and we're going, that's us on screen. So instead of having to draw everything by hand, all we have to do is tell each actor what to do.
That's awesome.
Throw a punch, throw a kick, do a back sweep, do a front sweep, do a jump spin kick. So we're pretty much like the cartoons, whatever he wants us to do. So when he did that, we were like, wait a minute, you know what? This is pretty much, this is what the game's going to be like. So, but at that time there was no name like, oh, it's going to be called.
And did you see any of the backgrounds, the backgrounds that are on the TV, like did you guys? He said, okay. He goes, I've already.
No. At that time when we were that first day, no, none of that was created.
So that came later. Okay.
It came later because they had offices there at Midway, and they had all the game designers starting to, get photo references and of temples and things like that, and scanning stuff, and then they had the artists starting to build stuff in the graphic programs of the temples, and then the footage of us, starts to be incorporated like layer wise on top of these backgrounds, and because that was basically, they call it a side scroller, that kind of game. It wasn't no 3D.
Yeah.
So then you had the background shifting a little bit, and and you had us in the foreground. But when we saw that for the first time, the first thing kind of comes to your head like, well, wait a minute. So if I just threw a punch because you hit the punch button, I guess that means I'm gonna have to really you're gonna have to get a pad of paper and write down like every single move that needs to be filmed.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. So John had this long list of, you have to do a walk sequence, walking forward, walking backwards, spin kick, front punch. Then you have to do blocks, so you got, you're in this position and you block. And so imagine all the piecing together that they had.
That's a lot of piecing, and I just want to let the fans know, guys, we're not going to get to every single question. I'm going to try and get as many Mortal Kombat Turtle questions in there. Me and Richard may have to come back and do part 2 because there's so much that I want to know and the fans want to know. Like
if anyone's living close and wants to come out to any of the conventions, we are going to be doing panels there. So fans have questions, we will be answering those.
Well, there you go. If I can't make it, though, I'm definitely going to have you back on for part 2 because this has been such a fun time, man. My next question is when you got to set, was John the one that did you have any input? Any of the actors have any input on the costumes, or did he have all the costumes ready to go?
Well, it's all right. I was putting the glass down.
Oh, it's all right.
I would say that after a few days of us filming, and I think I told you this too, the first batch of footage was kind of canned. It just didn't work out. So then we figured out what we needed to do. But after a few days of that, going back into the John's studio, he had sketches of characters drawn up. And there was a Kano-looking guy, or there was the guy that was going to be Kano. Bald guy, red eye, kind of taken from like the Terminator kind of character.
Nice.
And then you had the Johnny Cage, and you had the Liu Kang, which is like your Bruce Lee character. The closest one that I fit would be the bald guy, which is Kano. So I'm like, yeah, cool. He's like a mercenary thief character, and I was already didn't have my hair, so I said, sure, I'll play that guy. So John just had sketches of that. then we had to go costume shopping. So
Okay.
we went to a costume store called Fantasy Headquarters in Chicago on Lincoln Avenue. I believe it's still there, but we bought a Phantom of the Opera mask.
Okay.
And cut it, and then that's what became the Kano mask.
Nice.
And there was no red eye or anything. He had to add that in with the graphics program.
Oh, great. Yeah, I was just curious because I was like, I'm like, if Richard's working on a video game, if he's playing the character, I thought to myself, I bet you he had some say on the costume, but I wonder if John like already had a costume designer say, "Hey, I need you to go out and I need you to get this mask for Scorpion, and we can use the same mask for Reptile and Sub-Zero because their colors just change and and all that." So
That's what happened with Scorpion when they did Sub-Zero. All they did was just tint the palette to blue for Sub-Zero.
So they had just one guy in a very plain, like monotone color, and then they just changed the colors. Like, we need it for green, and we need it for blue, and then yellow.
The original costume is yellow.
Okay.
Which was Scorpion, and Scorpion was the first ninja film.
Okay, and then they just changed the color tone.
Yeah, John just tinted that to blue and to green and to for Smoke and the rest of them. So that's how he did it. But Daniel Pacina, who played Johnny Cage, we didn't have anyone to play the ninjas because actor-wise, it was just myself, Ho Sung Pak, Daniel Pacina, and Daniel's brother Carlos Pacina, who plays Raiden. And
then the girl.
We didn't have a girl yet.
Oh, okay.
It was just like the four of us buddies who all grew up together. So, but we had worked at a health club at that time, the Lakeshore Athletic Club in Chicago, and John was like, we're going to need a female character in here. So we knew an aerobics instructor, and we decided to ask her. Her name's Liz Malecki. So she played Sonya for the first Mortal Kombat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So that's pretty cool that like John gave you the creative freedom to like go out and costume shop, and since she was already an aerobics instructor, that was probably easy, for her costume. She's like, "Oh, I'll just wear what I wear, to work," So
yeah, well, John had a sketch of how she's supposed to look, and she had a few things, yeah. So it wasn't that far of a stretch for that. But,
and then your friend that played Johnny Cage, I mean, all you really need is some really, big glasses, for a Hollywood, actor, which
spandex shorts, black shoes, a red sash, and sunglasses.
That was perfect.
And some leather bands around his wrist. That's it.
That's perfect. So total, how many days on the set did you guys shoot for the video game?
Oh, countless hours, countless days. I couldn't even tell you. It's over and over. Sometimes 8 hours. Sometimes 6 to 8 hours.
Besides your characters, what's one of your favorite characters out of 1 through 4? It doesn't even have to be from number 1. Like, what's your favorite character of all time besides the 3 characters that you played?
Quan Chi.
Quan Chi.
Yeah, from part 4. Well, because I got to do the acting, and that's why I like the way that character looks, and that I was able to act like him. So, besides your characters, though, what other character from any of the video games did you like? Kano.
Kano.
Oh, you mean from
yeah, like all the characters? Yeah, like not your characters, like besides your character.
Scorpion.
Scorpion's your favorite? Okay, cool.
Well, I created a couple of the
exactly.
The great fatalities from that. So.
Now I've heard that story, but some of my fans have not. Some of my fans did see the interview. Like I said, I have a lot of fans, so like they kind of catch stuff here and there. Go ahead and tell the story of how you came up with the get over here and the heart-piercing thing for your character, and then Scorpion stuff. Because I love hearing that story, and I'd love to hear it again.
All right, so while we filmed, I mean, it finally got to the point where something fell down over there. Sorry.
It's okay.
I was like, whoa, what's that? But anyway, so what ended up happening is Ed Boon wanted the fatalities of the game to be a little different. So kind of extreme. And, you know, it's not like they had something already pre-written down, but the ideas were starting to come.
Mm-hmm.
So when they wanted to do Kano, you know, we rattle off different ideas. And, you know, I had been a fan of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg. And my daughter's looking at me like, yeah, thumbs up, you know. So, but the
hey, don't narc that film. Don't narc that film. That film was great. I love Indiana Jones.
Oh, yeah, I love that film. So I remembered that they lowered this guy down into the fire, and I guess before that, the guy like sticks his hand inside the guy's chest and pulls out the heart, you know. And I always thought that was cool. So I was like, okay. I'm like, John says, well, you got something for a fatality? What do you think Kano should do? So I said, what about like ripping the heart out? I said, just grab it like this, take it, and just, you know, hold it up in the air like that, you know. And he's like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So that ended up being Kano's fatality. And then I was also there as well when Daniel was filming for Scorpion. And one of the fatalities was, I guess, you know, I said, why doesn't he just take the mask off so they could see what he looks like underneath? And it's just like a skeleton face, because I love skeletons. I said, then he just blows some fire and just burns the other guys to a crisp. That would be cool, you know, and they love that. So we used that. And then there was another day that Daniel brought some weapons, because we were going to try to incorporate weapons somehow. And he brought a rope dart. And the rope dart is a weapon that in ancient China that they would use to throw at, let's say, one of the guys that was on a horse, and you would spear him, and then you would pull him off of his horse in battle. So I told Daniel, I said, you know what would be cool is if you just like throw this dagger right into the guy and you just reel him back and you just tell him, you know, get over here. So that was used. Now, Ed Boon, the programmer, his voice was actually recorded for Get Over Here. So, but I can pretty much do it the same. Get over here.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and then you said you added the you said you added the punch too, like whenever it says get over here, and then you said,
and I said then yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, I told you that yeah, just pull him back. And when you pull him back, you just do something like give him an uppercut or something like that.
That's awesome.
That day comes back to me when that happened. So, but
my next question is you also said, like, okay, yeah, your friend told you to come in, and he said, I just want to try something. We don't have a name. When did the actual name and the idea for the name Mortal Kombat come into place? Like, when did he was like, oh, I got a stroke of genius. How about we call it this?
Actually, none of the guys that worked on Mortal Kombat came up with the final name. I forgot the guys. I think the guy's name is Steve Ritchie. I think, and he was a pinball guy. And he had the story I hear is he had came into the office one day. This is when Mortal Kombat was already being developed on the screen, and you know, characters were being worked out and backgrounds were being created. And then they would take time out and have these little sessions where you're brainstorming for you know, when you're on a dry erase board and you're writing like you know different names like Fusion Cast, or you know, Rocket Fight, or you know, just coming up with weird names, you know. And
yeah, I was kind of curious like what kind of names they went through before they did you know, Mortal Kombat.
You know, I bet you somewhere there's a picture of that somewhere. I thought that there was a video that was posted on YouTube that actually shows that dry erase board in the background. It's some old MK footage. I'd have to, you know, look that up. It might be something like behind the scenes Mortal Kombat 1.
Do you have some of that footage?
The footage is on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
It's posted. So, I
Okay.
mean, I don't have it like on original videotape or anything, but someone does.
So basically, it was a team effort. They said, okay, we're going to go grab a dry erase board and just people start throwing out ideas. And then one of those, somebody must have said that. And
Well,
that's how it came to be.
Steve Ritchie, I think he's the one. And I might be wrong, but I hear the story that he walked in to the room, looked at the dry erase board, and saw all these names up there, and said something like, he must have put some names together, and he's like, "Why don't you just call it Mortal Kombat or something like that?"
Mm-hmm.
And that's how. And then they're like, "Hey, that's cool. Yeah, Mortal Kombat." So that's kind of how it happened.
That's awesome. And I mean, what a strong name, because I can't even tell you how many games there is out now, because I used to play a lot of games as a kid, but since I've been trying to like find better work and stuff, like right now, video games aren't like a high priority like on my list. I do intend to like my two top priorities right now are moving out of my parents' house and getting this big job that I wanted, but I used to play all those games as a kid, like, Sonic the Hedgehog, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, all those. I love all those games. And my friend, the Sega Camp Gamer, like, he's like, Fears, you got to get back in. You've seen what Sega looks like, because you came into a chat one day, and I was like, Sega, I'm like, you're gonna love this interview. Like whenever me and Richard do it, because Sega loves Mortal Kombat, he loves video games, and my thing is like I'm gonna get back into video games, but I don't even know. Do you know how many? Did you follow any of the games after number 4? And I was kind of curious, like, why haven't they asked any of the original cast back for any of the future Mortal Kombat stuff?
Well, Mortal Kombat 4 was the first 3D game, and they had to go 3D because between like MK3 and then they worked on the Mythology Sub-Zero game, technology was changing quickly, and the game Tekken was a 3D game, and
Oh yeah,
it was starting to get to the point where they're pushing the 3D envelope, and Midway's like, oh, I guess we're gonna have to do the 3D thing as well. So, and then they worked out the the 3D engine, and the next one was going to be after part 3. The last digitized game was Mythologies, but then part 4 was going to be 3D. So they really had no use for us after that.
yeah.
Yeah, and I haven't followed any of the games. I know there's supposed to be a Mortal Kombat 11 reveal, which looks pretty badass. I've seen some footage from it. I think it's online. But the way the technology is, where you can see when the skull gets crushed and it opens up and you can see the nipples, that's some pretty cool technology.
Definitely the fatalities have gotten a lot more bloodier, a lot more gore. I've seen some. I think the last Mortal Kombat game I did play, it was 9 or 10, one of those. And my friend was like, hey, John, come on over, check this out. And I played a little bit, and there was one like where Sub-Zero freezes somebody it's just like this, and he just walks over and he rips the head off, and he throws the head at the body like a baseball, and the head hits it, and then the whole body like explodes or something like that. And I was like, that's amazing. And then there was another one like where someone takes like a katana blade and like cuts him like right down the middle, and one half falls like this and another half falls like that, and he's just kind of like hanging there, and then he falls back, and I'm like, that's awesome. Like, that's really cool. So yeah. So do you have any like favorite days on set from like from Mortal Kombat? Is there any like highlights that you want to tell the fans?
Yeah, I think the whole experience was a highlight. You're working with your friends, and you're working on something and that you get to be creative on, and you're involved with something, especially after the first one. You're working on the second one and the third one. you're working on something that, you know, is changing history as far as, you know, video game history, and you're being a part of it. And
Hmm.
yeah, it was cool. So, you know, I have a lot of favorite moments. I guess I don't know if I could say there was a specific one, but
Yeah,
I would just say a lot of laughs, a lot of good times.
that's
Um,
awesome, and that's so cool that you guys got to. That's so cool that you guys got to film it with your buddies. I mean, what's better than like hanging out with your buddies and be like, "Hey guys, you want to like create a video game that'll like change video game history? Sweet, let's do it."
How many people does that happen to, right?
Exactly. I mean,
Everybody calls you and he says, "Hey, come on over. I want, you know, we're about to change, you know, the world, you know."
yeah. So someone said, "Can Rich show us some moves that he did in the game?" We will, guys. And you know what? What we could do it right now. Let's take some time out to stop with some questions. I know someone had a request for you to play a scene in the video game. Could you play as Kano and verse somebody, and we could show the fans?
Like I don't understand what you want me to do.
They wanted you to play they wanted you to play a level, like any level that you wanted, and they wanted you to play as yourself, and then they wanted you to verse somebody on camera. So I was wondering if you wanted to do that.
Hold on one second, because someone's coming in from the door. Okay. Hold on one second.
That's fine.
Okay, so it's Candy's home.
Okay.
You remember Candy?
Oh yes, I do remember. Yes,
yeah.
I remember her vaguely, but yes. Yeah. So, does she want to say hi?
Yeah, she'll say hi in a minute, but yeah. So we'll have to cut this short in a little bit, but I don't really understand what was it.
Well, someone in the chats saw that you had the video game playing, and there was like, "Hey, John, you should totally get Richard to play like a level in the game, like in the middle of the interview." And I was like, I can ask him if he wants to play like just one level, like have him play as Kano and verse someone, like play like an actual level. And I was like, I can ask him, and then.
Well, the thing is I don't have a system.
Oh, okay. So that's just on the TV. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's just on the TV. That's playing looped from YouTube.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you just had the
high tech over here.
I got you, man. I got you. I thought you just had the game on or something.
High tech stuff, you know.
I love it, man. I love it. No, and then someone also asked if he can't.
Had Atari. Atari was the last.
Yeah. Okay. Someone also asked Richard if he can't play a scene from the game, can he show us some of the moves that he did like whenever you were filming? Like, do you want to show us any moves that you did like from the? I said I can ask him, guys. I said if he wants to get up and show us a move or two.
I don't have any pants on.
Oh, okay.
No, I got shorts on.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, there's just not enough room here to do that. So
wait, did you see? Okay, were you making fun of our friend Dragon? Did you see that one?
No, what's that?
Oh, my friend Dragon. I was interviewing him, and he was either at he was either at his mom's or his dad. He comes on camera and he's like, "Hey, Fears, what's going on?" I thought he had pants on, and he was like, "Hey, Fears, like I really can't move," and because we were just joking around and we were just in a live stream, just bullshitting, and I don't know how it came up. I really can't remember, Richard. And all of a sudden he said, "Hey, Fears, like it's really hot in here, and I was talking with you and sometimes I do interviews, and sometimes like I just start a live stream with my friends, and well, you've seen him on the vlog channel, yeah. and I don't know how it came about, but he just like said, "Hey, Fears, like I feel kind of like embarrassed." And Dragon, I hope you don't mind me telling this story. It's really funny though. I don't think he'll mind. And he was like, "Fears, I'm kind of embarrassed. It's really hot in here, and I'm not wearing any pants." And I was like, "Wait a minute, like what are you talking about?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, I just have a t-shirt on up from here, and I don't have any pants on." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "That's fine." And it was really funny. So I thought you made that joke because you had seen the video on my vlog channel, but that's funny. But Yeah, if you don't want to do any moves, that's fine. Like my friend Joey was just asking, like, "Hey, Fierce, can you ask him to show a couple of moves?" There we go.
It's a praying mantis.
Nice. That's awesome.
They're
That's
making
awesome.
They're doing some moves. Can you put the air conditioning at a time?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have to go, guys. So
okay,
we'll
cool.
have to do this again another time.
Yeah, we'll definitely do part 2. And Richard, thank you so much for taking your time out, and I really appreciate it. And go ahead and plug one more time of those conventions for the fans.
All right, Saturday, August 4th, we will be at Mo Game Con in St. Charles, Missouri.
Okay.
And then I believe Game On Expo in Arizona, August 11th and 12th, which is the following weekend. And then I think September 8th and 9th is Hartford, Connecticut for the Retro World Expo.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys.
So for Mo Game Con, Daniel Pacina and I will be there. So if Daniel Pacina, if you want to meet Johnny, he's Johnny Cage, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Reptile, Smoke, Noob Saibot. He does all the ninjas. So he'll be there with me.
And like I said, guys, I'm gonna try and get to as many of those cons with you as possible, because I loved hanging out with you, man. And you were like, "Hey, we should do some collab videos," and I was like, "I would be honored to do some collab videos." So yeah, and I also saw your live stream on your Facebook when you and it was Danny went to the arcade, right?
Oh yeah.
I definitely want to come with you guys next time, because I was like, that would make a great. I was like, that would make a great vlog for my channel, hanging out with Mortal Kombat people. And I was like, I got to get Richard like in a vlog with me, like playing Mortal Kombat. He can play as Kano. I'll pick my favorite character. I have 2 favorite characters, and I'm not just saying this. I love Kano from the first one, and I love Reptile. I don't know what it is. I love I guess maybe it's because green's like one of my favorite colors. So I loved Reptile. I played a lot of Kano when I was a kid and a lot of Reptile. If I had to pick a third one, probably Scorpion. Nothing against like Sonya and Sub-Zero and all the other ones, but those were 3 or 4 of my favorites. And so yeah, I think that would make a cool vlog. So the next time you go to the arcade, man, let me know and I'll definitely come with you. So
well, thanks for having me, and hopefully
no problem.
I'll see you in Missouri.
Bye.
Oh yeah, man. And
bye now.
Wait, can I try
yeah.
Yeah, she wants to do the Kano face.
Okay.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, you can come on and do the Kano face.
Do you do like
Go
that or
closer.
something? Like,
There it is. Awesome. Awesome. Well, Richard, I understand that you got to take off. I'm actually going to continue the show, but if you want to duck out, I really appreciate your time and your effort, and we will come back and we'll do a part 2 on this whenever Richard has some more time, guys. And thank you so much, my friend. I really appreciate that.
All right, my friend. Good luck with the interview and everything. So and your test. So.
Oh, thank you so much, man. Yeah, it's in a couple of weeks, so I'll keep you updated.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you, my friend.
All right, have a nice one, guys.
Bye. See ya.
Yeah, peace.
Bye.
All right, guys. Well, that was Richard, and I really hope you guys enjoyed that interview. And if you guys got any questions for Fears, I hope I did really well. I tried to get as many questions answered as humanly possible, guys. That was a lot, but and I'm sorry if I ignored the chat a little bit. I wanted to really focus on the interview, guys. So I tried to get as many questions in there as humanly possible, and I grabbed a few from the chat. So I hope I did okay. And yeah, Richard's still here. All right.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out how to turn it off.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna keep going. Normally,
I figured it out. Hold on.
Okay. All right.
All right. Later.
No, later, man. Have a good one. Awesome. Well, yeah. You got to give him some credit. Like, this was his first time. I'm sorry that we were a little late, guys. I'm sorry that we were a little late. He was like, "Hey, Fears, I just downloaded the app to my phone." I was like, "Don't worry about it." I'm like, "I'll show you how to send the link." Be sure to like this. I only got 5 likes. I tried to do the best interview I could. I guess some of the the fake troll accounts, like they wanted to put a lot of dislikes on that. But I thought it was a good interview. I thought it was pretty good. So yeah. Fears, I didn't see any comments or any questions. I saw a couple of questions in there, N4. I saw a couple in there. Like someone asked me to ask him if he liked a Sub-Zero, and then I think Joey asked, can you ask him to show us some moves? And somebody in there, I can't remember who it was, but someone asked, can he have can he play like a level, in the game? And but yeah, so maybe next time, like when we do part 2, there was so many questions that I wanted to ask him. I tried to hit the highlights, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. This was my first live stream on the main channel. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I normally don't do live streams on the main channel. I usually do a lot more streams and stuff like on my vlog channel. I really only do streams and vlogs on the vlog channel, but I thought this one, since I'm interviewing an actor live, I thought what not better place to do it than on my main channel, because I want to get as many views on it as humanly possible, because sometimes people don't watch it all the time on when it's live. Sometimes people watch it like after the fact. So I really appreciate everybody coming out. I think at one point, I think I looked down at the people that were watching. I think when I looked down at one point, it went from like 11 or 12. I think the most it went up to was like 15. So yeah. So yeah, I really do appreciate everybody coming out. It was a lot of fun. And you know what? I learned something. I didn't even know that he worked on Batman. So that was a real big highlight. In the interview, because I knew that he worked on the video game. I knew that he worked on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I did not know that he worked on that. So that was a very nice surprise. So yeah. I see a lot of new people in the chat. Probably there's going to be some new people that I did not know, because I'm streaming, for the first time on my main on my main channel. So welcome all the newbies, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, guys. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this interview. I tried to get as much in the time we had, because he said, hey, before we went on the interview, he said, hey, Fears, I've only got a limited time to do this. And I was like, hey, no problem, man. Stay as long as you can, and we'll get through as many questions as humanly possible. So if I get a chance to do this again, like if I'm at a convention, maybe I can do another live interview, on my phone, or I'll bring my laptop with me. We'll see. Let me know in the comments, what you guys thought of the interview. I really tried my best. I think it was we had some laughs, and it was a pretty good interview, and I enjoyed myself, and Richard looked like he enjoyed himself. So I hope you guys enjoyed yourself too. And yeah, so it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and I'd say the 3 highlights of the interview was the Batman stories, and then I never get tired of the story of how he made the Scorpion with the mask thing and the Get Over Here thing, because Scorpion is a great character. I love Scorpion, so that was probably the second highlight. And I'd say the third highlight was, Richard's a really cool dude, and when we were reminiscing about how we became friends and did our first interview at the Toy and Comic Expo, I'd say those 3. But let me know what your guys' highlights were in the comments. Let me know what you guys thought of the interview. Let me know what you thought. I understand not everyone's going to like it, because I've got, like I said, I've got amazing fans, I've got troll fans, I've got haters. Everybody does on the internet. So let let me know what you guys thought. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to do some shout outs. Subscribe to Mattman Vlogs and Mattman. Subscribe to Let's Take a Camp Gamer and Wear Camp. Subscribe to Ethereal 101. Subscribe to Timmy MC. Subscribe to Mr. Rasmus. Subscribe to Cameo Man and Vlogging with Mr. Brown. Subscribe to Pixel Protocol. Subscribe to the Geodudes. And I'll do some more shout outs on the next interview. Those shout outs I did is people that do a lot of content, guys. And of course, you have to subscribe to moi, Fears. Subscribe to FearsMan26 on YouTube, and subscribe to Fears Vlogs. And let me just check my list of things. I made a list on my phone of things that I also wanted to talk about. Got some updates here. Let me just go to my notes. Okay, so those conventions that he was talking about, I'm going to try and get to as many of those as I possibly can. I'm going to try to get to the next Toyman Toy Show. The next Toyman Toy Show is July 8th, and there's a couple celebrities there that I'm going to get. If I can't make it to any of those conventions because I'm trying to get a job right now, and I have to do some training here in a couple weeks, it's either before those or after those. They haven't told me yet, so I'll try and get to that as much as I can. Me and my friend Ethereal, we haven't started shooting yet, but we're gonna make a short film, either before I leave for training or after I leave, or after I come back. The short film is called The Cemetery. So that's the next film, short film. And basically the concept is my friend Ethereal, someone in her family has passed away. She's going to the cemetery to put a rose down and then to say her final words, when all of a sudden she sees my character, and I'm dressed like in a white shirt, black tie, black suit coat, black pants, and I'm trying to get her attention, and ask her a couple of questions, but she can't hear me, she can't see me, and so I'm playing a ghost, but my character doesn't know that he's a ghost. And so he sees her trying to leave the cemetery after, she's visited her loved one, and he can't leave the cemetery. No matter what he does, he cannot leave. So me and Ethereal are going to sit down. We're going to write a script, but she loved the idea. I came up with the idea. I wanted to do like a short film about a ghost, and I was like, hey, what do you think of this idea, Ethereal? And she was like, I love it. She's like, let's shoot it. And she's like, is there going to be a dialogue? I was like, oh yeah, there's going to be dialogue. And I said, there's only going to be a little bit of dialogue. I said, because I really like telling short films through music. Like if you guys saw my short film, The Punisher, I only had like 1 or 2 lines of dialogue, and I told most of it with music. So me and Ethereal haven't talked a lot about the project. I just kind of mentioned it to her. I jogged a couple of notes down, but we're gonna either before I leave for training or after I leave for training, we're gonna have a hangout day, like where we literally bust out a script and say, okay, John, I come in this scene, I come in that scene, and I was like, let's do it. So that's coming up. I'm trying to think what else. My friend Jason right now is at the convention in Denver. He's probably going to have tons of footage on that convention, guys. I forgot the name of the convention. I think he told me it's Denver Comic-Con. If I'm wrong, Jason, on that convention, I apologize. But be sure to check out his channel, because in the next couple of days or weeks, I'm sure he'll have some type of footage from that convention. And he does, and because me and Jason, our friendship goes way back to film school. Same thing with my friend Randy Brown. Randy has been doing amazing animations for me. I don't know how to animate, so check out all those channels that I told you to. But the main 2 that I want you guys to really check out is Randy's got 2. Check out Cameo Man, and then Vlogging with Mr. Brown, and then Geodudes used to have 2 channels. Now he just got it down to 1. and that's the Geodudes. And Geodudes does streams, he does geocaching, streams geocaching. He does a couple little like funny skits and stuff. And then Randy does like anything and everything. He does animations, he does short films, he does vlogging, stuff like that. So I really want you guys to check those out. And I'm just trying to read a little bit of what the chat's saying. Let's see. Anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to just tell a few things before I sign off. So anyway, I hope you, like I said, I think that's all I had. But I think there's nothing else. Let's see. Let me check my notes. Let's see here. Did the conventions, talked about the job stuff and the training. Talk about the short film. And I really am. Oh, last thing, I forgot. Last thing, guys, I'm really gonna try. I'm so far behind on editing the rest of the Trans World Halloween attraction footage. I'm really going to finish all the Wizard World stuff too. So bear with me. I'm working as fast as I can, and I'll get that up ASAP. So anyway, I wanted to thank you guys. I'm going to take off, but this has been an amazing interview, and I really appreciate all the love and support to the channel. I saw a little bit of negativity in the chat, but I just ignored it. So I really wish people wouldn't do that, but it kind of comes with the territory. But again, I really appreciate all the loyal and true fans, and keep liking, keep commenting, keep subscribing. And this is Fears Audience. Fears Audience. I'll see you later. All right, bye.